The Ego and His Own by Max Stirner. What is not supposed to be my concern? First and foremost, the good cause, then God's cause, the cause of mankind, of truth, of freedom, of humanity, of justice. Further, the cause of my people, my prince, my fatherland. Finally, even the cause of the mind, and 1,000 other causes. Only my cause is never to be my concern. Shame on the egoist who thinks only of himself. Let us look and see then how they manage their concerns, they for whose cause we are to labor, devote ourselves, and grow enthusiastic. You have much profound information to give about God, and have for thousands of years searched the depths of the Godhead, and looked into its heart, so that you can doubtless tell us how God himself attends to God's cause, which we are called to serve. And you do not conceal the Lord's doings either. Now what is his cause? Has he, as is demanded of us, made an alien cause, the cause of truth, or love his own? You are shocked by this misunderstanding, and you instruct us that God's cause is indeed the cause of truth and love, but that this cause cannot be called alien to him. Should God take up the cause of truth, if he were not himself truth? He cares only for his cause, but because he is all in all, therefore all is his cause. But we are not all in all, and our cause is together little and contemptible. Therefore we must serve a higher cause. Now it is clear. God cares only for what is his, busies himself only with what satisfies him, thinks only of himself, and as purely and has only himself before his eyes. Woe to all that is not well-pleasing to him. He serves no higher person and satisfies only himself. His cause is a purely egoistic cause. How is it with mankind, whose cause we are to make our own? Is its cause that another, and does mankind serve a higher cause? No, mankind looks only at itself. Mankind will promote the interests of mankind only. Mankind has its own cause. That it may develop, it causes nations and individuals to wear themselves out in service, and when they have accomplished what mankind needs, it throws them on the dung heap of history in its gratitude. Is not mankind's cause a purely egoistic cause? I have no need to take up each thing that wants to throw its cause on us and show that it is occupied only with itself, not with us, only with its good, not with ours. Look at the rest of yourselves. Do truth, freedom, humanity, justice, desire anything else than that you grow enthusiastic and serve them. They all have an admirable time of it. When they receive zealous homage, just observe the nation that is defended by devoted patriots. The patriots fall in bloody battle or in the fight with hunger and want. What does the nation care for that? By the manure of their corpses, the nation comes to, quote-unquote, its bloom. The individuals have died for the great cause of the nation, and the nation sends them words of thanks after them, and has the profit of it. I call that a paying kind of egoism. But only look at the Sultan who cares so lovingly for his people. Is he not pure unselfishness itself? And does he not hourly sacrifice for his people? Oh yes, for his people. Just try it. Show yourself not as his, but as your own. For breaking away from his egoism, you will take a trip to jail. The Sultan has set his cause on nothing but himself. He is to himself all in all. He is to himself the only one, and tolerates nobody who would dare not be, quote-unquote, one of his people. And will you not learn by these brilliant examples that the egoist gets on best? I, for my part, take a lesson from them and propose, instead of further unselfishly serving those great egoists, rather to be the egoist myself. God and mankind have concerned themselves for nothing but themselves. Let me then likewise concern myself for myself, who am equally with God the nothing of all others, who am my all, who am the only one. Der Einzige. If mankind, as you affirm, have substance enough in themselves to be all in themselves, then I feel that I shall stick less like that, and that I shall have no complaint to make my emptiness. I am not nothing in the sense of emptiness, but I am the creative nothing, the nothing out of which I myself, as creator, create everything. Shit. I selected the next page. We're back. Away then with every concern that is not altogether my concern. You think at least the good cause must be my concern. What's good? What's bad? Why, I myself am my concern, and I am neither good nor bad. Neither has meaning for me. The divine is God's concern, the human man's. My concern is neither the divine nor the human, not the true, good, just, free, etc., but solely what is mine, and is not a general one, but is unique, einzig, as I am unique. Nothing is more to me than myself. This has been your host, Laris, reading The Ego in His Own. And now, we're going to read first part, Man. Man is to man the supreme being, says Feuerbach. Man has just been discovered, says Bruno Bauer. Then let us take a more careful look at the supreme being in this new discovery. Okay, this is a long one. From the moment when he catches sight of the light of the world, a man seeks to find out himself, and get hold of himself out of its confusion, in which he, with everything else, is tossed about in motley mixture. But everything that comes in contact with the child defends itself in turn against his attacks, and asserts its own persistence. Accordingly, because each thing cares for itself, at the same time comes into constant collision with other things, the combat of self-assertion is unavoidable. Victory or defeat between the two alternatives. The fate of the combat wavers. The victor becomes the lord, the vanquished one the subject. The former exercises supremacy and rights of supremacy. The latter fulfills in awe and deference the duties of a subject. But both remain enemies, and will always lie in wait. They watch for each other's weaknesses, children for those of their parents, and parents for those of their children, e.g. their fear. Either the stick conquers the man, or the man conquers the stick. In childhood, liberation takes the direction of trying to get to the bottom of things. Okay. Get to the bottom of things, to get at what is back of things. Therefore we spy out the weak points of everybody, for which it is well known children have a sure instinct. Therefore we like to smash things, like to rummage through hidden corners, pry after what is covered up or out of the way, and try what we can do with everything. When we once get back at what is back of the things, we know we are safe when, e.g., we have got have got at the fact that the rod is too weak against our obduracy, then we no longer fear it. We have outgrown it. Apologies for my profanity. My Google is shooting itself right now. Back of the rod, my dear, then it stands our obduracy, our obdurate courage. By degrees we get at what is the back of everything that was mysterious and uncanny to us. The mysteriously dreaded might of the rod, the father's stern look, and back of all we find our ataraxia, i.e. impenetrability, intrepidity, our counterforce, our odds of strength, our invincibility. Before that which formerly inspired us in fear and deference, we no longer retreat shyly, but take courage. Back of everything we find our courage, our superiority. Back at the sharp command of parents and authorities stand. And after all, our courageous choice or our outwitting shrewdness. And the more we feel ourselves, the smaller appears that which we before seemed invincible. And what is our trickery, shrewdness, courage, obduracy? What else but mind, Geist? This word will sometimes be translated as mind and sometimes spirit in the following readings, just for clarification. Though a considerable time we have spared with the fight that is so exhausting later, the fight against reason. The fairest part of childhood passes without the necessity of coming blows to reason. We care nothing at all about it, but do not meddle with it, admit no reason. We are not to be persuaded to anything by conviction, and are deaf to good arguments, principles, etc. On the other hand, coaxing, punishment, etc. are all hard for us to resist. This stern life and death combat with reason enters later, and begins a new phase. In childhood we scamper about without racking our brains much. Mind is the name of the first self-discovery, the first undeification of the divine, i.e. of the uncanny, the spooks, the powers above. Our fresh feeling of youth, this feeling of self, now defers to nothing. The world is discredited, for we are above it, we are mind. Now for the first time we see that hitherto we have not looked at the world intelligently at all, but only stared at it. We exercise the beginnings of our strength on natural powers. We defer to parents as a natural power. Later we say father and mother are to be forsaken, all natural powers to be counted as riven. They are vanquished for the rational, the intellectual man. There is no family as a natural power. A renunciation of parents, brothers, etc. makes its appearance. If these are born again as intellectual, rational powers, they are no longer at all what they were before. And not only parents, but men in general are conquered by the young man. They are no hindrance to him, and are no longer regarded, for now, he says, one must obey God rather than men. From this high standpoint, everything earthly recedes into contemptible remoteness, but for the standpoint is the heavenly. The attitude is now altogether reversed. The youth takes up an intellectual position, while the boy, who did not yet feel himself as mind, grew up on mindless learning. The former does not try to get a hold of things, e.g. to get into his head the data of history, but the thoughts that lie hidden in things, and so, e.g. the spirit of history. On the other hand, the boy understands connections, no doubt, but not ideas, the spirit. Therefore, he strings together whatever can be learned without proceeding a priori and theoretically, without looking for ideas. As in childhood, one had to overcome the resistance of the laws of the world, so now in everything that he proposes, he is met by an objection of the mind, of reason, of his own conscience, that is unreasonable, unchristian, unpatriotic, etc., cries conscience to us and frightens us away from it. Not the might of the avenging humanites, not Poseidon's wrath, not God, far as he sees the hidden not the Father's rod of punishment do we fear, but conscience. We run after thoughts now and follow their commands just as before we followed parental human ones. Our course of action is determined by our thoughts, ideas, conceptions, faith, as it is in childhood by the commands of our parents. For all that, we were already thinking when we were children, only our thoughts were not fleshless, abstract, absolute, i.e., nothing but thoughts, a heaven in themselves, a pure world of thought, logical thought. On the contrary, they had been only thoughts that we had about a thing. We thought of the thing so as so. Thus we may have thought God made the world that we see there, but we did not think of search the depths of the Godhead itself. We may have thought that is the truth about the matter, but we do not think of truth itself, nor to unite into one sentence, God is truth, the depths of Godhead, who is truth, we did not touch over such purely logical, i.e., theological questions. What is truth? Pilate does not stop, though he does not therefore hesitate to ascertain in an individual case what truth there is in the thing, i.e., whether the thing is true. Any thought bound to a thing is not yet nothing but a thought, absolute.